This is literally moving, at lightning speed around the world. And so we're accelerating what would be a normal bull market phase. I mean, you look at this on any chart. I was writing logarithmic charts today, and it's doing things that markets have never seen. And so it's a big caution. You got to be, listen, market cap is now $500 billion. I thought end of last year it could be $1 trillion. Heck, it could be there in 3 months. But in the speculative phase, you just, shorting it is really dangerous. But I wouldn't recommend, going out on your credit card or mortgaging your house to buy any of this stuff.
So you had said the last time you were on this show that Bitcoin could hit 40,000 sometime in 2018. Do you accelerate that call? Do you say, you know what, we've moved this far now, this is going viral, it's got to be higher? So
I think, listen, at this pace, it could hit 40,000 in 3 months, 2 months. There are risks out there. I mean, the biggest risk is Mr. and Mr. Regulator are going to come out and say, whoa, 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 whoa. We've got too many stories of, people starting to borrow from their credit card. And when prices are moving this fast, it gets regulators nervous.
So, Mike, you talked about last time you were here that the herd's coming, that the institutional investors are coming. You're out there talking to institutional investors. Where do they stand? Are they in this market or are they not there yet?
Absolutely not. I was actually up speaking to one of the biggest pension funds in the world, and they had 50 people in their office. They knew more about crypto than most of us. I mean, they're doing their homework. They're not in as an institution. My sense...
Can they not be because of their mandate, and will they change their mandate, or they just...
All of these guys are looking at this as a potential asset class. And I think... Mark my words, when Goldman Sachs starts trading it, you're going to see the big pensions start coming in, right? So as more and more credibility comes, the futures was a big deal. Getting some of the banks to participate, that'll get the pension funds in. And so I don't think the speculative phase of this is over. I think it's going to be bumpier than it has been. And I don't know if it lasts 3 months, 18 months, 2 years. It will end at one point. And the second chapter of this decentralized revolution will be when these actual protocols start working.
So right now you're planning to launch your fund next year, early next year or so?
End of the week.
The end of the week? Yeah. Did you move that up?
Really? No. We had, listen, launching a fund is always challenging. I wish we had launched it 3 months ago.
Sure.
Because it would have been much, much easier investing. And so at one point you just start. And so we're going to start, and we'll see from there.
So I think I asked you this question last time, but what does your allocation look, given the runs that we've seen and everything that's gone on since the last time we spoke?
So listen, I'm a trader at heart, and so sometimes I trade and I say I seem smart. Last time I think I told you I sold a bunch of Bitcoin at 10,000, 11,000, and didn't buy those back, and you can imagine how much that's cost. I'm guessing on a dollar basis about half invested at this point, having taken profits on some things, waiting for volatility.
Are you personally or through your fund going to be looking at other ways to invest in Bitcoin or blockchain, whether it be investing in some sort of exchange or a platform to trade or anything like that?
Our company, we have investments in exchanges and in companies all across the ecosystem, in mining. And so originally I had this thesis that you're not smart enough to pick just the winner. And so spread your bets. And so I've spread my bets all over the table.
Out of the investments or the types of investments that you have that are outside the actual cryptocurrency, what do you think could be the most disruptive at this point? And granted, a lot can change over the next couple of years.
Well, listen, the best investments by a long shot have been these exchanges. The exchanges are printing money right now. And so, God, you wish you owned a big chunk of Coinbase or Bitfinex or any of these big exchanges.
Do you think it's just going to be a race to the bottom in terms of the commissions? Because that seems like the next... once you have a lot of exchanges and a lot of platforms, it's like the E-Trade, Ameritrade, Schwab sort of war that we've seen ongoing.
We're still early on in the building of this thing. The hard part is getting money from exchange to the exchange. And so we've looked at banks that are funding these exchanges, right? The traditional banks still haven't wanted to participate in the crypto space. That's partly reputational. That's partly protecting their own turf.
We've been in a bull market for basically everything right now. I mean, stocks, crypto. Can Bitcoin go higher if stocks crash? I mean, if we see a major correction
Yeah, I think so. Because if you think about kind of total market cap of Bitcoin is still 2/3 of Apple. It's not enough that you're going to see the wealth effect shot. If Bitcoin was at $2 trillion market cap, then I think there'd be a lot of correlation, right? You're losing money in stocks, you better take profit in your Bitcoin. But you have a different investor base, right? The crypto investor base, you're starting to get more and more crossover people, but the core crypto investor base, they're not looking at the S&P. They really aren't. They're looking at all their different coins, and so I think it's still a pretty uncorrelated asset.
Cryptocurrency News Channel. Your new future. Thank you. Follow us on YouTube.